We lose ourselves in the spirit of things. We lose our sight when we put our trust in things of this material world, of things that fade away. Yet you keep coming back, 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 keep coming back. Keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. Of things we know. We are dreaming in the dark. We are
Hello. Welcome to the Royal SEA Challenge. This is going to be a hell of a game for you guys today. Trust me, you do not want to miss this one. Of course, I can't talk you through it alone. I'm your Castle Cremor 3. I'm joined by the wonderful Leg Day. Harry, how are you feeling about this one?
I'm feeling pretty great, Cremor, and we are in for not only some good games today, but also a long portion of top-rated SEA Valorant. We're going all the way from today on November 8th all the way through to the 20th, because we've got so many games to get through, Cremor. For the first few days, we're going to be handling Group A. This is going to have a lot of teams you guys recognize, especially Boom. Then we're going to work through Group B, and then we're going to have 3 days of playoffs after that.
You're absolutely right, and of course we're going to have to start with our first game today. We have got Boom versus Sharper. This is going to be a hell of a matchup. You've got Sharper, these kind of upcoming prodigal players, versus Boom, a team that has recently gone through a fair few roster changes. Harry, who are you feeling here?
It's interesting, because I'm looking at our map picks here, and Sharper, I feel like Sharper have definitely won our map picks at the moment. They've managed to get Split as their map pick, which currently is the worst map of Boom. They're sitting at 40% win rate on that, including only 37% win rate on the defense. And Boom, since their bigger tournaments on things like VCT and LCQ, it's been a bit more difficult for them. They've had a couple of restructurings of their team, and it remains to be seen whether or not that will be good or bad for their overall performance.
I mean, this is going to be the place to stress test it, isn't it? You've got teams that are on the up, you've got teams that you should be beating, but teams that are definitely going to still give you a challenge. So if there ever was a time to test this, this would be it. Now, the two players who have existed on the roster who have kind of survived the culling, we've got Blaze and Flipside. They were two very heavy hitters. When we look at their previous games, Blaze is usually the man who gives you star player. He's the one who gives all these star performances. And honestly, if he is able to get a team that can allow him to do this, that can set him up for these star plays, even though Split isn't a map that they're used to playing or one that they're very good at playing, they may still be able to snatch one away just on aim alone.
On the other side, we have Sharper, who are here to represent Thailand, which is very interesting because at the moment there are like 3 big main Thailand teams, and they are X10, Full Sense, and Sharper. And in the public perception, for a much wider audience, for those of you who might be joining us from North America or from the EMEA region, thank you for staying up late if you're in North America, by the way. Sharper are definitely a lot less known. X10 and Full Sense both going to champs, but X10 have been outdone by Sharper in terms of recent results, so they've kind of settled into the second best team in Thailand place behind Full Sense, who are consistently winning a lot of the battles in like localized tournaments, as well as performing very well in LCQ APAC recently.
Well, with that, we're going to head straight into this game. Without further ado, let's see how Boom are going to be able to fare on Split, a map they do not like playing. You know, they went into this with a very strong veto. I mean, you've got Ascent, Icebox, Breeze, all maps which they're able to boast a good 70% win rate or so. The fact that we've ended up on Split and Fracture is really, really impressive, and it makes you wonder, what's our Boom planning here? Because you physically can't lose a veto when you have such a high win rate on 3 maps.
Well, we have very little data for Fracture when it comes to these teams, so it's going to be venturing out into a great unknown. But one of the things I want to bring your attention over to right now, Kremer, is Pinocchio's on Sharper picking up this Breach. They have 100% pick rate for Breach on this map, and they do it a lot on Haven as well. I'd say that Sharper, they love a good Breach, and Breach is also almost imperative to use on Fracture, so it almost plays into how Sharper love to play this game as well. And I know it's a little bit early to be calling doom and gloom for Boom, but I feel like they definitely have lost this map veto given the preferences of Pinocchio's.
Yeah, I'm really interested as to what their thought process is. I like the fact they're bringing out a Sky instead. It means that they have that extra flash, that sort of bit more utility to use, and it does sort of favor a more dynamic way of playing. With only the Breach on the side of SP, I suspect that their attacking sides are going to be very fast-paced, very just bombing it off the back of the Breach flash and then just trying to gun your way into a site. With a Sky, you can play it a bit more dynamically. You can sort of spread out around the map and play more of the defaults. For your CG side, it means that you can constantly go on the attack as well. It means that you can constantly aggress to wherever you dare. But without further ado, let's get straight into this. It looks like for the most part, it's going to be a fairly even buy from this side, and well, for Boom, this is going to be their true test.
Boom starting off on the defense here. A heavy stack in A Heaven at the moment. Still have 20 seconds to prepare, though. They might decide to have a bit of a Diaspora since then, but the Astra's going to be anchoring over on B. Astra is often an anchor either on the B or on the A site. Zoms from Sentinels in particular, very famous for their A anchors here on Split. But got a bit of a default coming through from Sharper on the other side. Plenty of angles to be poked and prodded at.
You're absolutely right. For now, we're going to see just what can be almost wielded by this side. Now, my interest is for later. You see him lining up with the Fiber Wall. Makes me think that we should see some aggression in rows, maybe to go for a counter attack. More importantly, maybe even some aggression. And then having 4 players outside A is a really, really bold sentiment from this side. So, for the most part, it looks like we are going to see a bit of theatrics from Boom for this pistol round, but with a few ghosts as well, it has to be off aim. A lot more utility seems to favor this side of SP, and with that, we'll see what they can do.
We had a little bit of a pause there, a mouse error, just a quick tech, and then we're going to be ready to get back into this. I believe it was on the side of Boom Esports, and the pause time is off. We're going to see potential little split into mid here. They're going to be meeting the gaze of Blaze. Blaze has actually played a little bit less of a Viper as far as the VODs we've seen so far, playing a little bit more of a Sova. Interesting to see them move over onto this character. They're going to be beating a C6 very, very quickly. But holding in this small area with their Frenzy, remember, a tiny clip could be at a disadvantage. We're going up against 2 players. Going to avoid the boom bot, and potentially people are going to move past him here without checking it. That's great from Blaze. Can they get themselves a second? In comes the paint shell. That's going to force them to move, but they will get both of the duelists. What a start there from Blaze to remove some of the pushing power that Sharper had.
That's exactly what they were after. They use the Sky Flash to get the advantage. It allows you to go aggressive in mid off the back of that A presence as well. It means that it's just a matter of time before Sharper move into your crosshairs. They exploit it beautifully. Berserker, despite the fact he's dinked early on, he still holds a bit of a unorthodox angle, gives them that even bigger advantage. 4-on-2, and for Sharper, they're fairly split up going into this.
Pinocchio's been able to pick up a ghost at least, a slight upgrade, and still has almost all of their utility on top of that, but they're going to be moving into the crosshairs of that Sky. Flipside is going to cede away the space now, just allowing them to utilize that utility to try and claim this space back, even though it's already been taken away. The spike's still in play. It's in the hands of Beta at the moment, who sets up a flurry of stars on the A side, but there's going to be close defense here from the side of Bursa X. They find Pinocchios. Now they just have to deal with Beta. A single shot will do it, and it is delivered. Toot sweet. A great start here from Boom on their defense.
As mentioned from the Sky, when you have that flash, you can just go aggressive, and they do so beautifully. A quick shutdown on their opponents, and they just end up running them amok once they have the man advantage. Now, for Sharper, the way you beat this, of course, is to stack up and play for trades. Unfortunately, that pistol round was more of a default from them, almost to dip their toe in the water and figure out what's to come. I'm really interested to see how this breach works out, because for the most part, when these sides are, I guess you could say, getting a feel for one another, a breach could be fairly useless. Its main purpose is to exploit existing angles rather than to make new ones.
Pinocchios for now. Moving up through garage. Contesting for this orb could be very important. Oh my goodness, the Marshal just rips through Beta. Remember, a single body shot will do it for 101 damage when you're up against unarmored opponents. And with the eco that is demanded on a round 2 loss, that's certainly what's going to be provided. Flipsider needs another, and that's going to be clean. All members of Boom will survive, and that's going to be a fully fledged bonus round now. But I believe one member only bought a ghost, so they will have a hero rifle in their midst, and that's going to be on Frostmind, I imagine. Actually, they're just rotating the weapons around a little bit. Nice.
More importantly, only one player took damage in that round, and that was Sky. So they really are going to get that economic injection. Now, they're playing bonus anyway, so yeah, these specters on close angles, 1 or 2 kills would be great. Maybe even just saving the rifles could be a fairly good shout. But for the time being, we're going to see a very, very big mid presence, something that looks like Sharper is going to go in this game so far.
I've got eyes on Niffy right now. Flipside is about to move into their crosshairs. They're waiting on the other side of this defensive Viper wall. Bursa and Flipside, if they can get a pop flash through here, that fully blinds Niffy, but they're able to move out of a sight line. And despite the escape flash right here, Flipside is not going to be able to pull away with any frags to their name. Out goes the flash from the breach. Niffy's going to try and clear all of these cheeky little angles that they've fallen for before. Mail will be cleared as well from the aftershock of the breach. And now Niffy, slow walking once more. They believe that Ropes is clear off the back of that boombot, but they still have to deal with Flipsider. They know that there's a fewer less flashes. They saw 2 birds used. It's going to take a while to recharge. So for now, just coming back to a default.
A bit of aggression from the Cypher just to try and bait out some players. He hears that camera shot, so he knows that A-Long control's in their favor. They got to move quick here.
And they do. That's a full blind, but Flipside delivered it to themselves as well. Niffy's trying to get their way onto the back site, and instead they're going to move over towards the CT side. They find Frostmind as they're out on a tour, and that's an easy kill for the Jets. All alone right now is Blaze. And they've proved themselves quite the warrior before, but will the Predator become the prey this time? The Spectre's picked up. They can try and run on in. It's up against the double peak, and they get them both! Niffy and Pinocchios fall one after the other. 6 HP is left on Blaze, but considering that this is a bonus round that could have been absolutely perfect for the side of Sharper, Blaze is a pretty happy camper.
Yeah, second rifle would be great here. Unfortunately, he's seen in the process. I think it will be a matter of time before he's quickly picked off. He's at the stage now where, despite his HP, luckily, the bomb is a one-shot. Doesn't matter if you're low HP or high HP. He's going to be able to get away, take that Vandal to the next round. They're going to be on a full buy next round anyway, so just holding on to it is more just quality of life rather than critical to their investments. As we look at the ult management, this is the round where we start to see him come online. We're going to see Blaze, if he can get the orb control, then he will be bringing out the Viper's Pits, and Niffy as well. He's had a fairly solid few rounds, getting 2 kills, definitely is that the best of him. Same can be said for A-Sticks. Now, over for Berserk X, his gameplay appears to be very reactive, so I doubt we're going to see him try and go for aggression to get that ult. Moreover, he may just aggress in mid once he sees the heavy stack outside A from Sharper.
Bursa, the operator, not going to be meeting anyone at the moment. So much presence on A. This is all going to be discovered, of course, by that Trailblazer. How many will notice, though? This is a very, very audacious attack right now. Out goes for Hawk. It is going to blind a few. A second, doubling down right now as Frostmind might find themselves blinded by a friend, just dropping into a hail of bullets. I don't know if they died from blood loss or suffocation, but a death all the same is delivered, Kremer. And now Boomer on the back foot. Nice turn away from the blind, but Acetix is good on the timing and finds Blaze caught unawares. To bottle. Doesn't bottle that one. Acetix down. But 1 against 3. It's not unwinnable. But that op is being very judiciously guarded. Nifty is not allowing for this to be recovered. They know that this is likely being watched as an angle, and so they must bide their time. They could try and smoke this, but the second that they go into their astral form, there could be some kind of denoting that would allow them to get rushed. They hear the movement away. They look to see if they can grab themselves a bonus, and they can. Goodbye, Beta. And the operator has been recovered. As far as lost rounds go, it's not the worst here.
That is a very, very cheeky round from Tabuttle there. Taking the ult, getting an extra player. I mean, sure, it's all just a isn't it? This is a game of economy, Harry, and this is where the ults come out. They've got A6 and Nifty with theirs. There's the Viper spit up. Berserk X, you should be able to bring his up this round as well. Same for Beta. Now, Beta using his is really going to be the thing that matters here, because a lot of these ults are very proactive. For instance, A6 and Nifty's, these duelist ults, they're used for getting kills, not for so much being round deciders. For Beta, that gets you a sight. It is absolute. It changes the dynamic of a round. Now, for the time being, it isn't up, but the second it is, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him drop it instantly.
For now, a potential exchange of fire ready to go by Garage. Bursa needs to be the tip of the spear, needs to get more than they got last time. However, still, this presence needs to be maintained. Tabottle feels the presence of the breach being reinforced right here, and so is going to cover themselves with a put-down star. Blaze has fallen elsewhere while they were trying to control mid from a nice little sewers flank from Nifty. The attempt's going to be made by Flipsider, but I don't know if they're aware that they're surrounded by 3 separate players, and so the Trailblazer will just reinforce this. And remember that they no longer have that Viper wall active with Blaze falling down, nor the option to use the Viper's Pit.
Look at this mass rotation from Sharper, all of them gunning it to their spawn, then backed away. Now, it has been read by both Flipsider and Frostmine, but will they be able to get to the site in time? Hello, you've probably got an angle to work with.
Alerts found Frostmine. That cracks open the site, but still, they're going to be losing out to Flipsider. Playing around in elbow right here. Gets themselves a second. What can you see off the back of a showstopper? It goes in towards the elbow, but it's avoided by Flipsider. But now a C6 is in deep. They can try and leverage this position like a crowbar of a duelist to crack open the egg of A. And it's Pinocchios from the other side who'll be delivering the killing blow to Flipsider. Bursa, a nice long sight line here. They're able to take out Pinocchios. Beta does not want to try and peek this again, but they're going up against the Blade Storm nevertheless. Looking to aim up high. Can Tabottle really make this happen? A C6 gets 2. The duelist on the site, you got so much done. Secures it for Sharper.
Really, really good play from the Cypher there, actually, to just shift into A, hold an angle, and then allow his team to just join him. They take a site together. My real curiosity here comes from how long Flipsider was able to stay alive on L block there. Now, sure, he's going to die eventually, but where was his team? He was there for a good 15 seconds, where he dodged the A-stick, so he dodged absolutely everything, and eventually he's killed because he's just swarmed. But his team made such a big delay before their rotation because they're worried of the lurk. It ended up punishing them.
Bursa here, very aggressive. They know that Alert is very close, and they've looked to the wire, but Alert is a little bit quicker on the duel. Still the refrag from Frostmine keeps the numbers even, and this encourages Flipsider to go on a wild goose chase, and they might even find the spike here, Kramer. If they can find the spike in that tiny little corner, things could go very poorly, very fast.
I love this.
They hear each other on the approach. Beta, are they going to be ready? They are.
All down to Frostmind. I mean, his team gone, and I actually love this breach. I love him. While he is only on 1 kill, Pinocchio's, the space he's made with these flashes has been incredible. He's been wiping the floor with anyone who dare hide from him, and I sort of questioned his usage at the start of the game. His flashes, they're used to kill someone you already know is there, not to push people out of position. And right now, that usage from Pinocchio has worked beautifully for Sharper right now.
And Pinocchio looking good on the breach is doubly worrying when you consider that fractures our next maps. Crispy aim from Frostmine, just a little bit there. Dodges the aftershock, but we need to know that the breach is coming in from behind. The knife is out, the Vandal returns, and Pinocchio is too fast on the trigger. Sharper pull ahead a little bit further. 4 points to their name. And remember, overall, you might consider these guys underdogs, but they are rising stars, and Boom are coming off the back of a restructure looking towards 2022.
Let's see what can happen for this next couple of investments. Now, I have just noticed we do have some sound and some auditory issues. We'll fix them momentarily. Unfortunately, I am the caster, producer, and observer, so there will be some mistakes.
A man with many hats.
Exactly. We'll fix them as soon as humanly possible. I do apologise for that, but for now, let's focus on what Niffy can do on the safe side.
Niffy. Looking to take contact here. There's the stun. It isn't going to be completely getting rid of that turret. Frostmines now isolated by themselves. They need to win this duel. With the Sheriff, they're going to manage to do it, and that's good for a trade. Flipside, it just wraps around the back, and while they're left with 5 HP, a kill is better than nothing. You can see that the Viper's pit that was used to control mid has now been taken away. It's been abandoned by the Viper, and I'm interested in this little cubby here from Alert. The Phantom in play. They're able to take out Burst, and they just hold it down, hoping that the spray would carry them through. But Predator says absolutely not. Everyone left is on just a sliver of HP. Barely enough blood left to fill a thimble. And Acetix once more might get it all done by themselves. They're looking in the wrong direction. And the Predator pounces when no one is prepared. The defuse should come thoroughly.
Solid round from Blaze there. I mean, 16 HP, that's all that's needed, Harry. A really, really strong trade, and I mean, that's what happens when you have your team that can aim effectively. A constant back and forth and kill. But my worry is we didn't see any ults expended from Sharper in that round, and now they've got 5 ults up, and honestly, you never really want to be in that position. You want to have a cycle where you always have something to use, so kind of ace up your sleeve. When you end up with 5 at once, you end up feeling almost obliged to drop them, and considering the sort of state of their buy, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a massive ult investment into this round. There's the Astral Divide and the Lockdown to try and stop them, but for the most part, can that stop 5 abilities? I mean, we'll have to see.
Niffy were first to pull the trigger on this. Blade Storm going to be activated. Remember, this was a low investment round from them. Only a pistol in the offhand, I do believe. That means they're looking to try and loot up a weapon. It's more of a looting round for Niffy. They just need to try and grab this first contact here. Predator going to fade away down the ropes.
Oh, Blaze needs to be so careful. Just gets the hell out of there, but he's instantly pursued by Niffy here. I love this.
Niffy, so keen on this. It's going to be difficult to hit the headshots they need. Body shots will do just fine, though. It's the left click, so you get the refresh on the knives, and they fake out multiple people going down by hitting that auditory cue on the ropes. And for now, they just want to complete this area. The spike itself, at the moment, is in the hands of a breach on sewers, and look at how deeply penetrated Alert is right now. They're throwing out these cyber cages, so they know that they're incredibly close. But in comes a showstopper. Can it deliver a rocket to a meaningful area? The answer is no. Frostmind is put low, and they might even die to that nade right there. Indeed they will. The spread of the clusters was not enough to save them from that area
Look at the flank
of effect. Oh my goodness. Huge flank here from Acetix as well, and oh my goodness, on top of that, Beta. This could be the op. Oh,
one enemy remaining.
Oh, look away, children. That's not TV friendly. That's an operator in hand. And this is such a big... No. No. I refuse. This cannot be real. They're trying to juggle the op away right now. They don't want to allow it to be easily picked up, so we've put it into an open area where it can't be picked up guerrilla style. Will the op be looted by Sharper is the question. It still will be a 1 round, but more damage to the economy than I think they would have liked.
That was a really nice spray control from the bottle there. That was really clean. I mean, I suppose it is a way to make up from having your teammate knife.
I should play some Astral Stars in this reality.
That was a solid play from Beta. I'm not sure if you saw as well, but he threw out his stars from B main. So there's no way in hell they expect him to be there, and it just meant that he was able to sneak up on them. I mean, any other time that they double up in
Astral, guys.
and that's 2 easy kills for him. A complete shutdown, and now there's limited investment from Boom going into this round.
Beta betraying their presence. Astra versus Astra here. But will the bottle prove too much? There's the peak coming out. And just jiggles from Beta for now. But there's a battle going on in A main that needs to be accounted for. Alert is a little bit risky when it comes to that spray. They're unable to turn away from the Hawk as well. Full blind is going to be given on over. But the spray is good when combined with Pinocchio's. Oh, he ain't lying when he says that he can aim. That nose will not be growing, but the lead might well be. 5-3 at the moment, and it quickly converts to 6. No need for planting, boys. We just frag on through.
A really, really solid attempt from Beta there. His flank was timed to perfection. If his team just stay alive, he's able to get 2, maybe 3 players off the back of it. Unfortunately, once the A attack collapses, I mean, it's obvious for Sharper. Just go hit the site, you've killed everyone. It's a free plant for them. Luckily, they didn't get the bomb plant, so it means that they're not going to have too much of an economic injection. But considering there's only 3 rounds left of this half, they really aren't going to have any financial difficulties pretty much for the entirety of that. What's interesting, though, is we still haven't seen a breach hold get used yet. So I would love to see something allow them to get to this A site here, especially against what could be one of the final buys from Boom.
Pinocchio looking to set things up here with the aftershock. However, there will be contacts coming through from the side of Bursa from an elevated angle, but it's not good enough against the CTX, who adjusts so quickly and gets rid of that duelist. And now this site could be cracked open like a walnut in a vice. Flipsider playing at the back of site. Everyone's locations are revealed. In comes the Rolling Thunder, but Flipsider is able to avoid it. How much damage can they do? The answer will be 0. Blaze is down as well, and once again, Bottle stands alone. A Vandal in hand.
Spike planted.
And a save may well be demanded, but flawless thus far from Sharper.
Insane round from Sharper, and I mean, they just wiped the floor with Boom, and it speaks again to the sentiment of how have they had this map slip into their pool. Sharper, they won this.
I can't believe they didn't ban it.
Yeah, I really think Sharper won this in the meantime. I mean, sure, Boom can make it look close. They can try and, save weapons, for instance, but, free kills like this, they don't really matter. They're left in a position where they've got to face Fracture as our next map. I mean, Sharper, it was giddy.
Model wins that one. Oh, yeah, that's just like it, boys. No dramas. See if you can get yourself an asset angle here. This one's unrecognizable. That's another
actually.
Who is this Astra? They're top fragging right now. They're 10-5, best KD on the team by far. And they will swap out for a light armor instead of the damaged heavy one that they had remaining. And remember, only 2 rounds remain, so the Seekers, the Lockdown, the Cosmic Divide, no point saving them, boys.
Let's see if the Astrol's going to be used by Beta. That's another ability that we just haven't seen used by him. I mean, throwing down stars earlier, I would hope to see it get deployed somewhere, but this seems to be a fairly common trend in SEA teams, which is to really hold on to your ult abilities until the absolute perfect moment.
Beta versus Bottle. This is a very familiar duel. Both of these Astras love a little bit of dancing around, a ballet on B, but critically at the moment, Beta is holding the spike rather than its usual resting position in B lobby.
Toxins going up.
It will be Bottle who gives up this space a little bit because they're worried about the presence that's been generated in mid by Niffy, who's just going to fade away now as the Trailblazer comes on down, confirms their presence, but nothing more than that.
Slow but methodical.
You are divided.
There's that World's Divide, and now here comes the attack. Let's see if there's kind of any solution from Boom here to try and stop them.
Oh, the Seekers hit 2 people. They're vulnerable. They're nearsighted. They can't move in. They've been split up by a perfectly placed snakebite. And now the C6 needs to move in and is instantly disassembled by the defenders. As the dust clears, still 3 members on both sides, but the spike is hightailing it elsewhere. Vader's got their running shoes on. It's time for just a touch of cardio.
A touch of asthma from the sounds of it.
Oh, the double pumping though.
Put down.
Putting in so many stuns. Dropping over pulse. The Bottle's left all alone. And it is once again all on Frostmind with only a Sheriff in hand to make this work. A shot sent out towards Pinocchio's, but they're unable to connect where Pinocchio's is. 8-3. Sharper.
Last round before the
definitely underdogs.
We talked about quite a lot how 9-3 is a sort of cursed scoreline. My worry, Harry, is we're going to see this on probably both maps. Right now, Sharper just outclassing Boom, which feels weird to say, doesn't it?
It's worth noting as well that split defense is by far Boom's public shame. Yeah. Prior to this match, they had 37% win rate on defensive rounds on split since June of 2021. It's not been pretty.
You're absolutely right. Viper's Pit expended in mid, but it may not matter really because it looks like Sharper, they're going to do the old reliable. Go hit A, kill everyone, move on.
Shame is I quite liked how they stopped for last push on B. The gunfights just didn't entirely go their way. Up comes the defensive wall. Frostmine throws out a couple of stray bullets to the Vandal. Remember, those have traces, but that's good enough aim to take out Niffy. The next line of defense, what will we be able to achieve? Not much when faced with Beta. It's alpha gameplay, that much I'm assured of. And now it's down to a 2 versus 2, but the defensive utility of the Cosmic Divide is still available. Cut noise, though, right now means that they're not entirely sure what journey the spike is on. The Killjoy utility is no longer active. Flipside are staring it down. They see the rifle, but they're unable to connect the headshot. Out goes for blind, but they've turned away for now. They avoid the first line. Can they spray onto the second? The answer is no. Pinocchio goes in for yet another duel, but Bottle doesn't bottle it this time. And 8-4 is a bit of a mercy for Boom.
Switching sides.
That was a bit of a whiff from his opponent there to Bottle. I mean, he wins it by punishing Pinocchio rather than, say, winning it on your own endeavors. I worry a fair bit for Boom right now because their utility usage is not been winning them these rounds. It's been off the back of aim. For instance, for Bottle, you know, going 12-6, it's off the back of aim. He isn't using his abilities to get kills, and because of that, I suspect that on a defensive side, I mean, Sharper, this should be even more one-sided for them unless Boom find a way to turn around very quickly. Look at the investment. It's going to be a lot of ghosts from Boom as they prepare for a very fast hit to the safe side.
Eyes on the Acetic Crema. 5 people all together. 1 grenade from Acetics could do a huge amount. The Trailblazer comes out. They see that both of the duelists are here. Moving on forward, Acetics gets the first headshot. They send out the paint grenade to make sure that every other angle is going to be cleared. The Aftershock's the one that claims a frag, though. Onto flip side of Pinocchio, sending an absolute barrage of utility into this. And it's left the attacking forces of Boom a touch bruised.
Just a touch. They're going to prepare their hit onto A. This time, very much delayed and very, as you mentioned, bruised in the process, but they still have players and they still have a fair bit of utility onto Bottles, so they have some way to get to this site, but they still need to find a way to isolate a Acetix, who right now is in a really unorthodox angle.
Help from afar, the Astra Star comes on down from those who still anchor on B. Boom will use the cover of this wall to move in over to Heaven. And up here, they're going to be meeting Alert. Doesn't have any utility still active in this area at the moment, so it's going to be all about playing off the classic. No one's going to be able to trade. They're on a very different elevation. They get the information, but do they double down for the gunfight? Maybe staying alive here is more valuable with the time ticking on down. Alert sends out a couple of shots and then just scurries away into the screens like a rat hiding in a hole. For now, all they need to do is survive because time is not on the side of the attacking team. Boom have run down the clock, and so long as there can be anything from Beta to stop a plant here, this could be over. And I think it might be too late already, Kremer. There goes the time. You'll get yourself a bonus money, but you won't get the round.
One enemy remaining.
Victims of the inescapable March 4th of chronology.
I mean, sure, Bottle, once again, he's getting kills. It's just after time. It's quite sad, actually, to see him actually joint kill leader.
The post-match warrior.
Yeah, he's the post-match warrior. he's like a couple of months too late for the war, but in this case, he's got... I mean, hey, you know, Boom, they've got to go into the eco. I mean, sure, the spike plant helps them economically, but it isn't going to be by dictating. A couple of goes, mainly classics, the odd bit of utility, and another attempt at a fast hit to A. I mean, last time credit where credit's due for their optimism.
Alert going to be in a lot of trouble here. However, moving through that tripwire means that it's easy sprays, boys,
One
coming
enemy
through from
remaining.
Sharper. Alert just holds down the trigger and is rewarded with kill after kill. Plenty of bullets, boys. No dramas here. Sharper quickly clean this up in flawless fashion. They're going to earn themselves a tidy bonus round, and they're going to earn themselves double digits.
Neat. The way of describing that.
Nice.
I mean, I like how Niffy, his role there was just crosshair displacement. He dives on top of them, he takes to the high ground, he throws himself at his enemy, hoping that it distracts them. And I mean, hey, it does. I mean, you've just got a easy round for Alert to just tear through him. It means a perfect bonus, you know, 5 Spectres. you're in a round where it doesn't matter what the outcome is, they've still kind of won, as we're going to see Boom this time focus on mid-control, something that they fought so heavily to hold last round.
Cetix, very, very brazen with their movement, but Burst is not going to allow any of that to happen. A full blind is delivered, and so 2 of the bullets. Nifty's going absolutely mad in mid. Covers himself down with a cloud, and that's going to be Basin who claims the last kill. They didn't expect Frostmine to be lurking in the sewers. El Raton there he is, spreading the plague of bullets. And Predator somehow has made their way. They've wormed their way up into heaven. Remember, these looted weapons are even more valuable to Sharper, who survived the bonus round with 2, and both of them will loot rifles. Kremer, what is happening right now? I'm going to keep coming back to it. I can't believe we're seeing split.
Right now, we're witnessing domination, Harry. This is a very, very effective half, and more importantly, it's been an effective game. Sharper, they are just abusing Boom right now. When they're at a stage, they sort of hit that critical mass, which a lot of teams do, which is where you're at a confidence where you can run into a stack, it doesn't matter. You're so confident in your aim, you just win anyway. We saw that in the pistol round especially. We're going to see alert now, instant ping on these players. Every bit of info is going to make Boom feel like they're forced, they're choked, suffocated on this map.
As Tetic reveals their position, they hear multiple specters, and that ringing will be even louder. Crack through the brain. Mid-control is claimed right here for Boom off the back of worse weapons and a couple of loots here. Flipside is going to be able to get a nifty little upgrade onto the Vandal. And will they be able to beat out Alert with this? Will they ascend? That reload could have been a sound cue. Bursa wins that. Boom aren't dead yet.
It's glad to see they have signs of life, but my worry is this a comeback, or is this more sort of kind of hallowed death rattle?
It's just some mid-shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. Rigor Mortis has set in.
Bit of ARAM.
Exactly. But Pinocchio, I mean, he's making a bit of noise, hoping to try and bait out the odd player. I mean, he might get the odd kill, but it's almost reminiscent as to what we saw the Bottle do, where he just gets all this kills. It doesn't have any impact.
It's one of the upgraded rifles taken away. You can still do some blasting damage here. Remember that the economic gain for Boom is going to be weighing heavily on their minds. Moving now into Bursa. Bursa's pretty fast with those. But when you've got to win as many rounds as Boom do to get back into this, the long-term economical consequences of plays are going to weigh in their minds.
No, you're absolutely right. We look at a chance for Boom to come back in this. Bear in mind, though, this was a Sharper who, they weren't on a bonus, but the rifles they had were from a bonus. So they're going to instantly be able to reinvest. I mean, Niffy brings out Shorty purely because he does have the knives available. Both at Jets actually can bring out their knives if they want to. They do have the lockdown available on Frostmine as well as the Cypher from Alert. So we're going to have to see just what is expended here. And from the looks of it, it's going to be a very big amount of aggression in A-Long.
Niffy, joined by a friend here, so they have not yet revealed that they are going to be using the knife. So if the Cloudburst is enough information, look at how much mid-control has been gained already. Bursa is in the linchpin of the map. They can control rotations from here. And that means that they can try and cut off people who are playing on A as the lockdown comes in as a big signal flare to be, hey, we're attacking, boys. And Burst is wondering if anyone's going to rotate through. They can hear multiple people. For Spike, though, it's going to meet Niffy. It's going to meet the Bladestorm, and it's all whiffs all the time from Mr. Niff. Flipside is just going to send them scurrying. I think they've got one knife and maybe... No, 2 knives and a Shorty left. They are up a creek without a paddle right now, but so too could be Bursa going up against multiple people. They're unable to win that duel. Niffy is a headshot they need, and a second one as well. Who needs knives? More than 5? Nah, mate, I'll just take 1 to the head each time. It's beautiful from Niffy, and that is match point for the side of Sharper.
I mean, we spoke about how he whiffs quite a bit, but hey, I think that's pretty well recovered. 2 wonderful shots from him there. Just deletes the flanking members. I say flanking. They were just heading the normal way to A, and it's almost heartbreaking to see as well that we saw Berserk. He had such a strong angle. He was in a perfect position to shut down these members, and he's just instantly caught out by Cetix. I mean, easy shutdown, and looks like we're going to see another round of air aggression.
Ooh, that's a very risky place to go into astral form, and they're instantly punished for it. Bye-bye, Beta. And Bursa just looking to wait until this wall goes down. establish presence on catwalk or make sure the enemies at least are not there. There is still someone down in hell. That's going to be alert. They don't want to reveal themselves too early, but now they know that the hit is certainly coming this way.
Last
The bottle
player
up top
standing.
is bringing up a huge amount of pressure. Unable to deliver enough knives to alert. Managing to get 2 frags, but then Predator just emerges from the smoke. I heard you were looking for me, son. Flipside was unable to get the plant in time to give a little bit of reinforcement to that economy.
You're absolutely right. And bear in mind, of course, you have to remember, this is Sharper's map pick. So take it with a grain of salt as to how well they're doing. But here's the thing. You know, Boom shouldn't let this be Sharper's map pick. I mean, when you have an insta-ban and the map you play the least is your worst map, sometimes you just fall back on your insta-ban and hope that it kind of catches your opponents off guard. In this case, Sharper, they seem to have done their homework and they're sort of reaping the rewards of that.
Scout destroyed.
Trailblazer down. Doggy down. Cool of that. For now, Frostbine's just going to... Frostbine's just going to hold this angle for now. Just play off the contact of the turret, but you've got to be careful. The aftershock, you can see that Pinocchio is lining it up. They want a C6 to have this easy peasy, bruv. But for now, huge amounts of leverage have been gained in mid. Flipside has got control of ropes, and it's going to be Burst who's just moving up into heaven right now. That tripwire looks a little bit high to me, but no, it's going to be able to be moved up under. A barrage of utility comes their way, and so they have to flee from the gauntlet lest they face the threat of alert catching them. And Frostmind is going to fall with their lurk on A. Everyone else is going to potentially split through into heaven, and the spike is going to join them, but it could be intercepted by these duelists.
I love this aggression from Niffy. He's got so much information off the back of this. He could relay to the breach very quickly that this is going to be a hit to B. I mean, we see them start backing off an hour later. He heads to back sight. His teammate just tucks in. 30 seconds left now, and Boom needs to get a wiggle on it.
Alert and Beta, if they can trade out well, they might end this game. Burster starts off well, fragging through, and they know exactly where Pinocchio is. You can't pull a fast one on me. You're a wooden child. You're not even a real boy.
Spike planted.
Coming around the back, Niffy looking to move in from Garage. Up against 4, the 2 duelists. They start a showstopper as well if they so desire, but a C6 won't even get the chance to bring it out. Niffy grabs the first. They need to do plenty of damage here to Boom. Just get rid of these rifles, if nothing else. Down goes the smoke, and down 2 goes Niffy. The bottle has found its victim, and that's going to be 7-12 now.
Right, you may doubt Pinocchio's biology a little bit, but do you doubt the comeback?
I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's definitely on the defense where we've seen the most questionable approaches, or at least the most questionable past. When it comes to Boom Esports. And I was just looking back to check what they did ban. They banned Bind, which is quite interesting. I don't think Bind is a terrible map for them. Like, statistically, it does favor Sharper, and maybe they were hoping to avoid Sharper being able to go to this map, but like, it was nowhere near as poorly disposed as their split was.
Maybe they're being too clever.
Obscuring concealment.
Gaming themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But now, like, slow control a bit. And, it's an eco from Sharper, so this is going to be a tough round for them. They do have a lot of ults to expend should they want to. And, I mean, all it takes is a well-placed Skyle to realize just how heavy this stack is.
Sharper, let me see some accuracy. Alert here. With that brand new Sheriff, isn't it pretty? I want one of those. They could absolutely rack through multiple people, swapping over now onto the camera, hoping to get an advantage on the peak. That's going to be a tracking dart, giving outcome for Seekers. The Gamer Squids are moving, the cabbage is deployed, but I'm not going to make you eat your greens today, son. It's going to be despite a huge amount of explosions and just pixels everywhere. No one taking any damage, really. A couple of bruises here until Blaze is caught out, and that's going to be a kill with the Sheriff. That could be a lootable rifle, and it's going to be in the hands of Beta.
Left.
That gives a little bit more hope here to the economically woeful team of Sharper as Frostmind. Now they've got to try and play with a lack of time. An interception coming through from the breach ult could be all that's needed. Pinocchio's has the frenzy up here. The plant needs to come through, but can Alert stop it? They found Frostmind! They found the spike as well! Someone needs to come in and grab this, but time might once more do too much to Boom! Coming in with the two-sided crossfire on the back of a Thrifty. Sharper will start our tournament with a bang.
What's a way to end your map as well, and an incredible performance from both sides, and more importantly, that ability usage at the end. We spoke about them having a lot of ults to throw at their opponents, and yeah, that was kind of embodied there. An incredible performance, and honestly, after seeing that massive ability dump in mid, you would expect them to go, okay, one rifle, that stuff, we just go save the rifle, use it for your full buy next round. Instead, they continued to push, and for alerts to just sit back site, to just punish anyone who swings at him. Now, unfortunately for Boom, the strat was to run down the clock, assault a site when your opponent's utility is low. In this case, they didn't drain enough, and Sharper, they take map 1.
Good strategic strat book that we've seen thus far on split from Sharper. Anyone looking at this tournament from the outside, Kremer, looking at Group A, they would think Boom is the favorite. Looking at Group B, Paper Rex would be the preferred candidate to make it all the way to the top. However, one of the things that I'd like to point out is that Boom's, one of their newest members in the bottle, was actually their top fragger, and was the top combat scorer in the entire lobby as well. So I don't know if it's much of a new player issue thing, as it was just like the overall map veto strategy from Boom.
You're absolutely right. Hopefully, we should be able to get into our second game any second now. We can go to a quick little break, though. We'll be back momentarily.
Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and
Bracket.